All right, it's time to go over my top 10 running backs for week 13. We're going to waste no time, get right into this video. At number 10, we're going Kyren Williams. This is a running back getting a crazy amount of workload out here, right? I mean, whether it's good or bad, at the end of the day, there's no other running back getting as much work as he is for his individual team, right? I mean, this week they are taking on a Saints defense that ranks 28th against opposing running backs. Like I mentioned, he was getting a crazy amount of workload. I mean, he's looking so solid for this team. And again, I was wrong a lot. I thought, Blake Corbin was going to come in here, that running back out of Michigan, and take a lot of the workload away from Kyren Williams. But I think over there with Matthew Stafford, he's towards the back end of his career. You got two nice wide receivers out there, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I think they just like the one guy, pass protection. Make sure you're keeping Matthew Stafford upright and just feed him the rock. Could be up to 20 times in a game, just doing phenomenal work. And against the Saints defense, let's just face it, they've given up some really, really big plays to a lot of positions, including the running back position. So teams are able to run on the Saints defense this year, which is kind of odd because historically they're actually a pretty good run defense. But this year they're just struggling against the run. I like myself some Kyren Williams. I think it gets a big workload here. I just don't see any way the Saints can slow down this offense of the Rams. The Saints is not the Saints team of old. Get Kyren Williams in your lineup. I think he's going to have a phenomenal week 13 and run all over the Saints defense. So we're right along here. At number 9, we're going Josh Jacobs. This is another running back that kind of surprised me a little bit, right? He had one good season over there with the Raiders, not coming over here with the Packers, and he's actually doing quite nice. Now, it might be due to there's a lot of these players that was supposed to take over hitting his role, whether it's Marshawn Lloyd or the case. They're either injured, they're not really taking over. So it's all Josh Jacobs. He's the only one in this backfield, the only one getting the touches. There's no competition right now for touches in the backfield of the Packers. This week, they are taking on a Dolphins defense that's ranking 18th against opposing running backs. Like I mentioned, there's just no competing. No competing for any touches in this backfield whatsoever. So it's all Josh Jacobs, and he's getting a lot of the carries. So it's almost like the Kyren Williams situation where you're going to see a lot of carries from Josh Jacobs because there's not anybody else to give carries to that's worth to give carries. So if you're looking for fantasy football wise, I think Josh Jacobs consistently gives you a nice outing. I think this week makes no difference. They're giving the ball quite a bit. Should have plenty of fantasy points for you here in week 13. Let's move right along here. At number 8, we're going Bijan Robinson. Now, this is the running back I think is going to need to pass the ball more than run the ball, but I think I got to put him on these running back rankings, even if he's going to catch the football, because I'm talking about fantasy football. This week, they're talking about Chargers defense right here. They're ranked 5th against opposing running backs, but they're going to need him in the passing game this week. So they're going to need to have him catch a lot of these footballs out of the backfield, whether it be swing passes or screen plays. And I think that's where he's going to get the chunk of his plays, not necessarily on the run, but that's okay. Bijan Robinson can do it. He's very electric. If you just get the ball in his hands, he can make a play. And against a defense that does play really well and stack the box quite a bit against this Falcons team, they're going to have to get a little bit of creative just to kind of get out there. Justin Herbert's flying off the rails. So that means Kirk Cousins is going to have to get a little bit off the rails himself. And that means probably passing to his running back position in Bijan Robinson. Get the guy into your lineup. I think he has a nice, solid fantasy day for you. Moving right along here. At number 7, we're going Christian McCaffrey. This is a guy that, let's just say, he just started off a little slow, right? He's not the Christian McCaffrey. I think he fell off. At this point, he fell off. How can you even draft Christian McCaffrey in the first round in 2025? I think you're going to have balls of steel at this point, right? You're going to have the balls of steel if you want to take Christian McCaffrey in the first round. At this point, with the injury history, he's just not looking like the Christian McCaffrey of old. Now, he's still making some good plays, right? But just not what we're used to as far as seeing Christian McCaffrey type numbers, right? This week they are taking on a Bills defense ranks 30th against opposing running backs, still getting back his legs right underneath him, right? And if there's a game that he's going to get involved and really start running, this is going to be the game against a Bills defense who gives up a lot of points to the running back position. So this is a day for Christian McCaffrey to have a come out party. We'll see if he ends up doing that. I don't know. He looks a little bit sluggish, still getting his legs under him, like I was saying, but who knows what you get out of week 13. Still had to put him as a top 10 running back, though, because I think he gets the opportunities and he's going to get a lot of play time to make things happen. And I'm telling you, even a little bit of a flash of Christian McCaffrey could be way better than most running backs in the NFL. So we're moving right along here. At number 6, we're going Devon Achane, another guy who can make anything happen if you just get the ball into his hand. This guy has absolutely lightning speed, and he's been able to stay healthy, which I did not think he was going to be able to do this season, especially if something injury happened to Raheem Mostert. When Mostert goes down, the dude's getting 20 carries in a game. Achane, he's rock and rolling. Even with Mostert back, he's still the man. He's still the most productive guy into this backfield, right? This week they are taking on a Packers defense ranks 14th against opposing running backs, getting a lot of workload, right? Production will come. Whenever you get this amount of workload, sometimes you're going to have some bad games, But it's going to come. The production is going to come just based on the volume that he is receiving from this offense. Now at Tua Tagovailoa, he's been back now for a few weeks. The offense is starting to click a little bit more. You saw Jalen Waddle go ham sauce last week. I just think it's only a matter of time before you see Devon Achane have one of those blow up 200-yard games that can absolutely win you a week. Get Devon Achane into your lineup. I like him for week 13. Move right along here into my top 5. Jahmyr Gibbs, right, is my number 5 running back here. One of those another electric running backs. I'm telling you, I say this almost every time I have him into my rankings, that I would always have him higher in my rankings if it wasn't for David Montgomery. He does split that time, which kind of make it a little bit murky sometimes on which running back to start. When is Jahmyr Gibbs going to have one of his explosive games? But you got to get the guy in your lineup. He's an absolute phenomenal running back. This week they are taking on a Bears defense that ranks 19th against opposing running backs. He could break some long runs this week against a Bears defense that could give up some opportunities. Now, early on in the season, the Bears defense was lights out. Later on now in the latter end of the season, they're starting to let some things slip, right? And I think this could be where Jahmyr Gibbs really takes advantage of a defense that's allowing these running backs to do almost what they want here as of late. So I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I like the opportunity. I still like David Montgomery as well, but Jahmyr Gibbs just has that electricity about him that he can make some crazy 70-yard, screen passes for a touchdown. He's got that ability. Love myself some Jahmyr Gibbs. Move right along here at number 4, Alvin Kamara, coming off the bye week, should be nice and fresh, ready to rock and roll. We already know with Clint Kubiak coming in as the offensive coordinator, he's really made this offense about Alvin Kamara, and I think he can show us some really good stuff. This week they are taking on a Rams defense, ranks 25th against opposing running backs. He is truly the last man standing into this offense, right? No Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. There's a lot of things going down. We got Derek Carr back now, but I think this is a big Alvin Kamara show, right? Even Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller, a lot of these running backs, they all got injured. They're all out. They're not playing right now, so it's all Alvin Kamara. Well, they should have Jamal Williams back pretty soon, but you got Mims over there as the backup running back right now. It's just like, look, are you going to give him the ball? No, we're going to give it all to Alvin Kamara. He gets a ton of workload, whether it's running the ball, receiving the ball. He does a lot of good things. Alvin Kamara can light up the show. He's a very good fantasy football running back. It doesn't matter if he's getting close up there into the age. He's playing lights out. You got to put the guy into your lineup. I love myself some Alvin Kamara. Moving here at number 3, we're dropping down Derrick Henry just a notch. Derrick Henry, again, just because you have him at number 3, don't sit over and say, hey, Bayou Bingo doesn't like Derrick Henry this week. Derrick Henry's a start no matter what defense he's going against. And yes, he's going against a little bit of a tougher run defense right now, but still, it's Derrick Henry, man. He's almost matchup proof. You can't just bench somebody because he's going against a top 5 defense. I mean, he's going to be running wild. I love it. But he's going against the Eagles defense that ranks 4th against opposing running backs. Like I said, he's an absolute man-child out there, right? Doesn't matter what defense he's playing against right now, whether it's going to be an Eagles team or not. They're going to need Derrick Henry to get some tough yardage, right? It's going to be a 2 teams that's going at it. You got Saquon Barkley on one side, Derrick Henry on the other side. They're going to be running the football. It's going to happen. You got Lamar Jackson and you got Jalen Hurts on one side. They're going to be throwing the football. It's going to be a nice, solid game. I don't think it's going to be a very good defensive game. I think there's going to be a lot of offensive fireworks on both sides of this football and a lot of fantasy points to be had. That's why I like Derrick Henry there at number 3 for me. Vaulting up here to number 2, I'm going Joe Mixon, right? Mostly because he's going against a cockadoodle defense, and he's going to be used a lot. They're going to be running the football left and right. Love myself some Joe Mixon this week. They are taking on a Jaguars defense that ranks 31st against opposing running backs. Like I said, his usage is just through the roof, right? Joe Mixon is doing some crazy things right now. And when you get into such a positive game script, let's just face it, the Texans are going to blow out the Jaguars. And what's going to happen with that blowout? Well, they're going to be running the football quite a bit with Joe Mixon. He's going to shred this defense. Who in that defense can even slow down Joe Mixon? Absolutely nobody. So I love Joe Mixon for week 13. Had to vault him all the way up here for number 2 for me. And that leaves us at number 1, of course, at Saquon Barkley. Who else will we have here at the number 1 spot? Just having a phenomenal year at this point, just completely blowing up numbers left and right. Love what he's doing and what he's able to produce. Saquon Barkley is just going freaking bananas. Love myself some Saquon Barkley. This week they're taking on a Ravens defense that ranks 8th against opposing running backs. Continues to just completely dominate the NFL. And like I said, it doesn't matter if he's going against a top 10 run defense or not. Saquon Barkley is able to break away and break whatever he wants on any given defense. So it doesn't matter who they play. Get Saquon Barkley into your lineup. He's having a career year, and I'm telling you, he can completely win a game for you himself. And being in a matchup with the Eagles and the Ravens, both teams want to be on top of their AFC and the NFC. They're going to go hard-nosed, and I don't think the defense is really going to be playing much of a factor. It's going to be more of an offensive game, and you're going to see a lot of fantasy points, and that means Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley should have solid games for you guys. So that is my top 10 running backs for week 13, guys. Make sure you guys are leaving a comment right down below. Let me know if there's any running backs that didn't make it into my top 10 that you think should be in the top 10. Let me know in the comments. We can have a conversation, go back and forth. I'd like to do that with you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, right? Most of the people watching this right now isn't even subscribed. Do yourself a favor and subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel as well. We're pumping out so many videos each and every week, right? We want to make sure that you are setting the best lineup possible every single week. We want you to win a championship every year. That's the goal here at the Bayou Bengal Fantasy Network, and I'm here to help you guys do that. So make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. But I can't wait to see y'all on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.